I'm Kate with CrateInsider.com, and today I am fortunate enough to be standing with Rusty Schlenk. And Rusty, you just had a major win, and you're like Mr. Famous right now. So tell us about that win. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, that was huge. Probably, I mean, it wasn't the biggest paying win of my career, but in front of the crowd of people that we were in, and the crowd of cars we had behind us at the end of the race, it was definitely one of the biggest stage we've been on so far. Yeah, we got lucky enough to draw the pole for the Gateway Dirt Nationals last week, the Race of Champions. We got into that for winning the UMP National Points this year. And started on the pole next to Davenport, and I thought he was going to give me a run for my money, but after we got him cleared after a couple laps and drove away with it. But the rest of the weekend wasn't so pleasant to us. I think we used up all of our luck on Thursday night, but we got in a bunch of wrecks and stuff the rest of the weekend. So we came out of there with a big check and lots of people looking at these Rayburn chassis. So that was our biggest goal.
Well, that's great. Now, how did you get started in racing? I mean, I love to know those stories about how you got started, because you didn't just wake up one morning and become a super late model driver that started winning races at major races.
No, I mean, pretty much every kid's story, I think. My dad raced when I was little. He raced a few times. It's a street stock car around home. So he took me to the races from the time I was born until 4 or 5 years old. And we went to a car show, and there's a little quarter midget go-kart thing that I seen at the car show, and told my dad I wanted one, and I wanted to be a race car driver. So here I am.
Yeah, just fast forward. You just click a button. Like, I go from a midget to all of a sudden I'm like a super late model.
Pretty much that's how it went. I raced a quarter midget 3 or 4 years until I was 10. Then I jumped into a street stock. The next year I was in a sportsman, and then the next year I was in a late model. I've been racing late models since I was 13. I'm 32 now, so.
That is definitely most of your life right there.
Yeah.
And now you're taking your racing career to a whole different level. You're not just a driver anymore. Tell us a little bit more about what you're doing and going into 2019.
Yeah, I've been racing for a living since fresh out of high school. That's all I've been doing is I race to make money. So I've been supporting the family on that for the last 10 years now, and it's obviously getting a little bit harder with the prices of everything. It's getting harder to make a living just winning races. So we're taking a little different route and trying to sell race cars. I've always done fabrication work. I've built bodies, and I've even built chassis from the ground up for local guys. But we're taking on this new endeavor. 2 years ago, we teamed up with CJ Rayburn, and we're pretty much the main house driver and the main dealer for these Rayburn by RSR cars. We've been selling quite a few lately. My biggest goal is just to go out and get my name out there. We've got it out there pretty good in the super late model world. That's, as you can see, we're venturing into the crates now. So I've had a lot of interest from down south. We don't have a lot of crate stuff around us. It's 5 hours to my closest crate race.
Where are you?
I'm in McClure, Ohio. We're about 45 minutes south of Michigan and 45 minutes to the east of Indiana, up in that corner. So our closest crate track is Farmer City, Illinois. We just don't have anything around us. But I get a lot of interest from people down in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida that want to buy these race cars, but they don't know anything about them. They don't know if they're going to be good in a crate. So that was my goal, is just to put a crate car together and travel around a little bit and show these guys that we can kick butt in the crates too.
Well, and I think that's really exciting. Obviously, I have a vested interest in anything to do with crate engines, but, because Crate Insider, everything we do is crates, of course. But yeah, the dirt is so much different. I grew up in the Midwest, and that black heavy dirt that's just amazing, and you've got that red clay, and there's just going to be different experiences and different setups. And now you were telling me that you're planning, in order to get down into the South and to find out what these cars can do with the crate engine in them, you've got some big things that you're planning here, like in January.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting on all the schedules to come out. I plan on going down and maybe doing the races at Ocala. Velocita, Brad Smith with Velocita is a big part of me doing this crate deal. He's trying to push me to get these things down there, and he's got a lot of crate connections. So we're going to try for Ocala, depending on what their schedule is. I'm still waiting on that with the Neesmith stuff. Well, I guess it's Durance Lane now. but we thought about maybe East Bay. I don't know what the schedules are going to look like. I think they're at completely different ends of the month, so I don't know if we'll be able to make that work. But we're definitely going to try and do Ocala for that 10,000 to win deal, and then maybe hit some other crate races here this spring. I've seen a lot of big paying crate races this year. I've seen a 50,000 to win. Where was that in Virginia?
Virginia Motor
Speedway. So we've got that in our sights. I just want to travel around and show people that we can run with these crate cars anywhere in the country. The key is to get them on different dirt. Like you said, I grew up in Ohio. We've got nasty brown dirt up here, and we've won a lot of races there. We've won a lot of races up in Michigan in the sandy stuff. We've won a lot of races out in the black gumbo in Illinois. I won a race down in Mississippi this year on the red clay. So we've proved that we can do it in the super. Now I gotta prove to the crate guys that we can build a race car that for half the price of everybody else. That's my biggest thing is trying to keep the price down in the crate stuff. I mean that's why this crate stuff was built. It was to try and keep the price down, and we probably have the most reasonable priced race car on the market, and people stray away from that. The super guys actually stray away from that a little bit. If it doesn't cost $50,000, they don't want it. They don't care how good it is. It doesn't cost 50 grand, so it can't be good. They've kind of got that mentality, and I think it's different in the crate world. The crate guy just wants to win races. He doesn't care if it costs $12 or $12,000. If it wins races, he's going to buy it. So we've got a really good product. We've won a lot of races with it. It's not as expensive as everything else on the market. And we're not as big as Rocket. We're not as big as Longhorn. I'm a lot more personalized with my drivers. We got about 12 drivers out there right now in my race cars that I work with, and I'm a lot more one-on-one with people. So I think we're. I don't want to be huge. I don't want to sell a ton of race cars. If I sell 10, 15, 20 cars a year, I'm happy. I want to be able to know everybody by name, and if Joe calls me from West Virginia, I want to know how he did that week. I want to be able to know him personally and be able to work with him and know what track he races at and how he's been doing, and that's the goal with where I'm hoping to go with this in the future.
Well, and I think that's really exciting because I believe you got a 604 in this, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes.
And we're seeing a lot of growth in the 602 dirt late models down in our area in the Carolinas, and that whole Durance Lane area. Fast Track is coming out with a new Young Gun series, so there really are some fantastic opportunities, I think, especially with a lower priced chassis.
Yes, for sure. And actually, speaking of that 602 series for the Young Guns, we're actually thinking about my stepson has been racing a crate up in our area. He's been racing with the supers with the 604 crate. He ran a couple crate races, but like I said, we don't have crate tracks around us, so I just been letting him get his feet wet and running the supers. But I think we're talking about maybe getting him a 602 and trying to do some of that this year. His dad, Matt Shipley, runs one of my cars too.
I know his dad. I know Matt.
I think Matt deals with you a little bit. So, that's our plan. I think we're gonna try and get Colin. That's our stepson. We're gonna try and get him. Maybe out in that
putting
area.
together a 602 dirt late model too, because we want to do some more stuff with Crate Insider, with like showing some installation and that type of thing. So putting a young driver into that. So we've got that in common. We didn't know this. So
nice.
We're just having a good time. Now I'm sure with your career, especially with a long illustrious career, you have about 1 million people to thank. but who would be? You've got a lot of sponsorship for this car that we're looking at right here. Go ahead and go down to that list and tell. Let's say some thank yous. Oh
man, we'd have to walk around the car to thank everybody. I can't even remember them all. But number one, I've got to thank Velocita. I'm Brad Smith with Velocita. He's not just helping me with fire suits and stuff like that. I mean, he's more of a personal friend that pushes me to like I said, he's the one that's pushing me to do this crate deal. I didn't realize there was such a market for the crate stuff just because there's not any around us, and he kind of opened my eyes to see what potential I'm missing, and so I got to thank him. Without him, I wouldn't be sitting here with this car right now. Obviously, Landrum Springs, they got me in the booth here this year to showcase this race car. Awesome Springs, Buckeye Concrete. That's actually my car owner for my supers. He owns all my super stuff. Tyler Bork. He's been a blessing the last 2 years. He provides us with good motors and a hauler where we can get around and run the whole Summer Nationals tour like we have been. So huge for him. Rayburn, obviously, CJ Rayburn. Without him, I couldn't be doing this either, because he pretty much builds these things the way I want them. He lets me do a lot of R&D work. Whatever I want built, even if he argues with me that he doesn't think it needs to be that way, he builds them for me, and we get them sold at the end of the day. And obviously, we build a heck of a race car here. These things are beautiful. So. And every other product sponsor. I mean, we can go around here. There's product sponsors all over this thing. Everybody that helps out. So.
Well, and I'm going to personally thank Bentley Shaw from Dominator, because he's the one that introduced us to, and I've been working with Bentley for several years now with Crate Insider. Love what he does there.
Yes, Bentley's only about 35 minutes from me. Yeah, Bentley's huge to my program too. His products are awesome. I mean, we run his sail panels, his roof, the nose, everything on these race cars that's plastic is from Bentley. Beautiful product, awesome job. And that's.
I love the sail panels. Oh yeah, and you've definitely got the sail panels on here.
Yep.
They seem really nice and sturdy, and yet we were looking at, they've got the flex, and I don't put cars together. So what was your experience? I know you've got the whole roof kit and the sail panels on here. What was that like?
They're awesome. The sail panels are actually my design. I started getting these. How you doing? I started getting these made for. Pretty much just my Rayburn cars. I do a lot of bodies and deckings and cockpits and a lot of fab work at home, and it takes me 6 hours to cut out an old set of sail panels by hand and put them on, and it got to the point where I needed to make them quicker. So a buddy of mine out in Pennsylvania cuts all these out for me on his router, and they're actually my design, and I don't have the time to sell parts, so we let Bentley take over that part of them, and I give him all the sail panel sales, and he helps me out with everything else. So Bentley's been great to work with. The sail panels are awesome, though. I mean, I think he carries every color in stock. If it's an aluminum color, we've got it in stock. I just let him deal with all the sales on those, because I don't have time to do it with building race cars. But the roofs are amazing. They're lightweight. They're cheaper than anything on the market. I shouldn't say cheap. Everybody runs away from that word, but less expensive. It's not my favorite word, but
great value at a great price.
Yes. Everything, all of it, for sure. All of his parts. The nose pieces, they're durable. I run all of his hoods, this composite material he's got. I don't know if he's shown you that stuff yet, but it's the same weight as aluminum, but you can literally hit that with a sledgehammer. He's got the front valance part down here that we ran. We got 60 races on it. I flipped the thing twice, and you can peel the wrap off at the end of the year and put a new piece on. It doesn't get rock dents in it. It doesn't get puncture wounds in it. It's a little more expensive, but you can run the same hood and the same filler panel for 3 years, and as long as you don't destroy a car like I do. But
well, if you're gonna do it right, right?
Yeah. So no, he builds awesome products.
Well, that's great. And just one last question: where can people find you online?
I don't have a website or anything. I pretty much do everything off of Facebook. You can look me up at Rusty Schlenk Race Cars. I've got a couple Facebook pages, Rusty Schlenk Racing, and then that's just for my racing page. But I've got Rusty Schlenk Race Cars Parts and Fabrication, which is where I do all my parts sales and my wagons. I build these little wagons over here. I've been selling the crap out of those this weekend.
They're adorable. I totally want one. I don't know what I'd do with it yet, but I totally want one. It's adorable.
You got to carry all this equipment around somehow.
I do, all this camera equipment. So let's just put it into my little cart. And you know what? I'd never make it very far. People would be stopping me for my little car. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Lets me get these race cars out there a little bit and get some PR on these things. A lot of people don't know what we're doing yet. Everybody's surprised at the crate thing. Everybody knows me as a super late model driver, so I'm excited to get into the crate world. I've always wanted to get into the crate world. There's just nothing around us, so we're gonna take the leap and.
You need to move.
I do, and it's cold up there too. I don't know why I live where it hurts my face when I go outside, but.
So true. All right, so yeah, you're invited to North Carolina anytime, Rusty. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching.
If you like what we're doing here, hit that subscribe button.